Hello, everyone. It's another weird day for a stream from me. But you know what? Chili put up nonsense, and I felt like I had to address it. So here we are again. Now, if you were here yesterday, you know that he said a bunch of really dumb stuff that I will address in a second. And this is, I guess, an additional video that goes maybe more in depth. Last time I was like, we're going to go through the entire video. This time, probably not. There's a good chance I'm going to be like, I'm done. I can't handle his nonsense for this amount of time in this short period of 2 days. It's difficult to do. Additionally, you pretty much got everything that we need of this transparency plan of his yesterday, which was these officers are only there to be cameras. You can assault them if you want. That's not a crime. In fact, there are no crimes. No crimes. Just get a gun and blast your way into whatever. I don't really know what the plan is, but he so I had been addressing its logical conclusion. He took it there. He just said the quiet part out loud. And I want to address that in a bit. First, welcome to the live stream, everyone. Hi. Second, first 10 minutes is just going to be me rambling. Everything after that is also going to be me rambling, but about a specific topic. So if you're watching this after the fact, I know a lot of you are like, I watch all of it. It's great. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. But some of the people are like, what? Pfft, nothing happened in the first 10 minutes, which is why I say this part now. There you go. You can fast forward if I go off topic, or if you want to skip this first 10 minutes. It's fine. But while we're waiting for people to trickle in for the first 10 minutes, because that's the whole point, Chili's end goal for this, which would never work and would never be allowed, I'm going to tell you that right now, is essentially just the Wild West. Everyone gets a gun, and you do what you want. Whoever has the best guns, the best aim, the most cojones, to get what you want out in the Wild West. That's historically accurate. All right? Mexico owned a lot of it. Fun fact. And what a lovely job they did keeping it warm for us. And I'm sure that's very offensive. No, look, before my time. Good stuff, good times. Love the culture. Anyway, thank you for burritos. Okay, now I'm being offensive, and I'll own it. So, everyone gets a gun. And it's the Jean-Jacques Rousseau thing that he's been talking about. And I read some of that. So I'd never read Jean-Jacques. Is it Jean-Jacques Rousseau? Let me just check that real quick. Let me just Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Yeah, okay. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He's basically like, look, every man is born free, but then is shackled by society. Like, yeah, everyone's born to do whatever they want, technically. But if you're in a society, there are rules. If you want freedom, you can't have society. So what Chile seems to want to do is say, hey, everyone, make your own rules, which would logically follow remove society. The problem is humans tend to create society, right? Let's put this back into the Wild West kind of thing. Everyone has a gun, right? Now, you want to not be shot by someone else with a gun. But there are people out there that are like, I have a big gun, and therefore I get to do what I want. Because who's going to say no? Your smaller, puny little guns? No, I have big gun. Anyway, I'm not gonna fall through with that bit. What people are gonna do is start teaming up. They're gonna create little micro societies all over the country. If this spreads as far as the entire country, they're gonna make little micro communities. And those micro communities are gonna form into bigger communities. And you're basically just going to recreate government, is what you're gonna do. Because to protect yourself from anarchists in a state of anarchy, you have to develop beyond anarchy to a community. But that community probably has some rules. How do you enforce those rules? I don't know. Maybe with some sort of law enforcement? Gosh, I don't know. Just full circle. Full circle. I know, Chile, you graduated second from the bottom of your class, but those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it, etc., etc. Something quotes from people who are important. Anyway, I just want to put it out there because I'm going to forget to say that if I don't say it, but I did say it, so it's not forgotten. Hooray. How's everyone doing? Good to have you all here. Did you like my video today? Me acting a fool. Singing parodies. Sharpshooters throughout the municipality that will take him out if there's an active shooter who has already killed someone and is still actively shooting. That's his plan, to have sharpshooters? Yeah, I'm sure. He's already saying people don't like the idea of the cameras. Yeah, people aren't going to like the ideas of, don't mess up or you'll get shot, because they're here to, shoot active shooters now. 10 years from the implementation. Who's shooting the active shooters? Who's shooting the shooters of the active shooters? It's like, who's policing the police, right? Come on. He must know that he's running to stupid, right? Like, I understand he's running a scam, but this is beyond. Like, he has to know that this is just absurd. That there's absolutely no way. Uwu to Keeping Criminal. Welcome to the chat. Hey, good to have you here. It's oh, Dan Low Fat. Hey, Dan Low Fat. Turn your headphones up. There you go. Okay? All right. Dan Low Fat has this Dan Low Fat, why don't you address all the errors that you made in my comment section? I can look them up right now. In fact, I think I will. Let's see. Because you just won't respond to me once I correct you. And I'm like, I don't know if he's actually learning. Let me see if I can pull it up. All right. Chile has never been quoted, nor has he ever said that Reagan invented law enforcement. What he said was Reagan made the term law enforcement the popular term. No, Dan Low Fat, that's not what Chile said. Chile said that Reagan created law enforcement so that they could enforce certain drug crimes. Drug crimes were already being enforced. The term law enforcement already existed. Chile did not merely say that it just became more popular. He said Reagan created it. It was in the video. You can watch it yourself. Let's see what else Dan Low Fat has said. Because, God, I hope that's the real Dan Low Fat. Because otherwise, this is super awkward. Oh, yeah. Someone says, I was a kid in the 1950s, and they were called police and cops then. And Dan Low Fat said, any of the course appointment. I don't know. I think he says, and of course, the point you're making. But he says, any of the course appointment you're making is they weren't called law enforcement back then. But they were. Someone's just making a different comment. Okay? Let's see. He says, Unchained America, who actually might be here, says the term peace officer is just a formal job title you put on a resume. Their job description is unchanged, whatever you call them. Cops or police officers, it's just alternative titles. Yeah, it's just a bunch of titles for the same thing. Law enforcement is usually the blanket statement, and then peace officers is a name. Cop, police, officer, it all applies. It's all very interchangeable. And Dan Low Fat goes, unfortunately for you, also not true, as Blue Bacon has no doubt pointed out in his own research. Except my research says that Unchained America is correct. Why won't you respond? Why do you just leave all these? Like, if you just keep leaving these comments, I'm happy to have you keep leaving these comments, but you're going to have a conversation about them. You can't just drop them and leave. I will stop you from doing that if it comes to that. I want you to know. If you are going to start the conversation, you have to stay for the conversation. You specifically. Okay? Okay. I'll bring them back up, too. I'll bring those comments back up. If you start something, I will address your errors right now. I'll do it. She's still here? Did he run? Anyway. Let's see. What are we at? We're at 1 minute. We got 1 minute to go before we start going over this nonsense. It's this nonsense. Oh, folks. This one I've not seen. I've not seen any of this video, but I'm very excited about it because it's going to be just from this picture. I have some problems. I have some big problems. Oh, boy. It's so good. Anyway. I feel like we're close enough to 10 minutes. Yeah, we're at 10 minutes. All right, folks. We have a video from Chile from, oh gosh, I don't know when this was. But it's titled 1:20 a.m. Ohio time. What's the problem? Not sleeping, bud? Weird. Music soothes is the Savage Beast. Do you like jazz? What kind of title is that? Bruh, what kind of title is that? I have so many questions. Anyway, let's get into this. First, before we even start, I'm guessing these are his transparency drones. Up top there.
Think about that first.
Yeah, these guys right here. He brought up this thing with his video where he had the weird eyeglasses thing. Sorry. He's like, the headphones. Because for some reason they'll still have headphones. Doesn't make sense. Are for the drones. He never explains what the drones are for. And we just kind of assumed that, oh, is it just so that the transparency officers are being surveilled? But what kind of drones? Then he has these drones. And I don't know if these are the actual drones he's planning on using, but these ones right here, I believe these are the Mavic Mini 2, which are great drones for the price. They are not great drones to surveil people. Now, I know a thing or two about drones, and I've looked at getting a Mavic Mini. I'm guessing it's a 2. I don't know the difference visually between the Mavic Mini and the Mavic Mini 2. But I can tell you that their flight time is about 30 minutes. That's it. They can't fly in a strong wind. Their camera, I think, is 2K, which isn't bad as a hobbyist. Actually pretty good as a hobbyist. It's not going to be good for surveillance. If you want a clear picture, even in 2K, right? If you know anything about cameras and sensors, for like visual sensors, 2K is not enough for anything at a distance. They have no capability of zooming with a lens, to my knowledge. There are drones that do. I think the Parrot has a lens that does a little bit of zooming. And there are like much more expensive drones that do this really, really well and have really long flight times. These ones, these Mavic Minis, which I believe they're Mavic Minis. I'm not entirely 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure. You're going to have to fly them pretty close to the transparency officers. And so if the transparency officers are responding, which why would they respond if they're not there to actually do anything but be told go away by the people that are talking to them? They show up and the person's going through some sort of mental health crisis, a drug crisis, an emotional crisis, anything like that. And you have of a drone, spot on impression, by the way, just that's going to make it worse. That's going to make it worse. So now you have these people responding to these incidences, I'll roll with it, that are just going to make it worse. So why have them respond in the first place? They're not useful at all, are they? Also, you can shoot these drones down. If anyone has a gun, just pew! What are they going to do? Stop me? There are no crimes. Ha 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 ha! You know? It's not like these things have 360-degree everything, right? You get a nice rifle, you just pa! And they're not looking at you. No one knows who did it. Congratulations, you just got away with a not crime, because there are no crimes in this anarchy world. Here's the other thing. He wants to do this in Ohio. All right? Ohio.
Second.
Oop. There are federal laws prohibiting the type of drone flight he wants. He doesn't get to write laws that say, sorry, federal aviation laws. We do what we want here. Because each of those drones has to have someone controlling them who has direct line of sight or is in communication with someone who has a direct line of sight to them, right? So if these transparency officers are doing a job, they're not going to be like, hey, stop fighting each other. Hey, stop it. That's not going to fly. I'll take that pun. That's a solid pun. I paused because I was like, do I want to make that joke? Yes, in fact, I do. So federal law would literally prohibit this kind of thing. It would prohibit it. It would not be allowed. So, no. The drones would have to be very close. They'd have a very limited flight time. You'd have to have an observer for something that doesn't even make sense. It's just someone showing up and being told by these 3 agencies, hey, don't go there for reasons. Just stay at home or something. Also, people can attack you and it's not illegal. Doesn't make sense. Sounding Board, thank you so much, says how many lawsuits before he can't file anymore? Can you be shut down on a federal level? You can be subject to certain punishments, I guess. I mean, if he's filing lawsuits maliciously in the sense that they don't have any merit, yeah, there could be punishments that the government could enact against him. I am not qualified to really go over what those could be, but I am familiar with the fact that, yes, not only could the government be like, hey, stop wasting our time, but if he sues anyone at all, they can just go, hey, Judge, Your Honor, big guy with a gavel. He has this terrible history of just filing lawsuits that are meaningless. I'd like to address that. And then you can maybe discuss that in the court situation. Excuse me, shenanigans. I don't know. I'm not really much on civil law. I don't know that much about it, which is why I try to pull other people in when I'm talking about it. And I definitely request assistance when it comes to learning about it from people who actually have the proper education. Auditors, you can learn a thing or two about that. So, there it is. I was looking for my phone. All right, just making sure there are no issues. Second thing, what is this bus? Like a party bus? Like your general transportation bus? Is this the bus? Maybe we'll find out. Is this the bus that's going to take the transparency officers from place to place? Why does it have to be so big? How many officers are being transported? I think he was saying 5. This bus is like 40. What is this, like the bus that the drones get launched from? And I know we can just watch the video and maybe find out, but I don't know. Anyway, I just like, why does it say transparency on it? So many issues. So we are just going to watch the video. I'm going to stop speculating on what exactly the nonsense. Frank Perry, thanks so much, says, isn't that a vexatious litigant? I think that's the exact phrase I was looking for and couldn't remember. Yeah, I think so. I don't know how all that works, but I know that I've seen people get in a little bit of trouble for it. So, yes, Gambino, he was someone that ran into that exact trouble. Okay, hold on. What is Dan Lofaz saying this time? All right, Dan. What are you saying? What nonsense coming out of your mouth this time? Says it's not federal law. The FAA is federal regulations. Dan. What do you think federal regulations are? Do you think maybe that's federal law? I wish I could zoom this camera in further with my feet, my foot pedals. I can't. Unfortunately, I started here. I should have started here with the slow turn and gone, Dan. Oh my God. Anyway, so I digress. Hey, it's federal regulations. Oh my God. Instances where you can actually fly drones. Make that make sense. Not line of sight for police business, and Chile's idea would constitute this. Would it? You have to file very, very specific requests and get very specific permissions to do anything like that. Federally. So does Chile have to do that every single time? Or has he not thought this out because he has no idea what flying a drone actually entails? Gosh, I think it's the second one, especially with those flight times. Oh my God. Dan Lofaz says, no, actually, Chile does not have a terrible history of filing lawsuits that are meaningless. You're saying falsehoods right now, and you have no proof either. I do. I have multiple videos on my channel going through his lawsuits and how incredibly dumb they are. They're incredibly dumb. He files them for nothing. They are nothing. They are meaningless lawsuits. They're a way to look like he's doing something so he can get money from people off YouTube. Money from people like you, I assume, Dan. That's the purpose of those lawsuits, to look like he's doing something. They are useless. They will never accomplish anything unless they change significantly from what he's filing so far. Come on. There's a brain there. Try using it sometime. Anyway, You can file anything you want, but eventually, I assume there's a limit. So, no, you know what? No, I'm gonna counter NFCat, who says, please don't give him money. No, give him money. Why not? You want to be stupid with your money? Who are we to tell you? You're giving to a scammer because you're too dumb to realize. But it's fine. It's fine. That's good. Okay, Dan Lofat responds, and he says, oh, no. I'm not saying that his lawsuits that he has filed aren't dumb. I can check that. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Dumb versus meaningless. See, I consider a meaningless lawsuit to be dumb, okay? Or a dumb lawsuit to be meaningless. I don't know how you didn't get that. And so what I'm saying is there aren't a plethora. He's only filed 3, therefore you should really only have 3 videos covering, 3 that you know of. 3 that you know of, Dan. He's threatened, like, I don't know, I would guess about a dozen from what I've seen. He's filed, I believe, more than 3 over the history of his life. But it's fine. You're not paying attention to anything before this scam. It's cool. Inquisitor Rurik, thank you so much, says, what's your opinion on having armed drones be sent in to deal with hazardous situations? I think that's something that needs significant testing to see how effective they are and if it's cost effective. If it can be done well, I would be willing to see a test of it, but I wouldn't want it just implemented immediately like Chile would want, right? Oh, we haven't tested this. Let's just do it. Anyway, let's watch this video, and I'll keep an eye out for Dan Lofat.
So I'll just show you guys.
Yes, show us.
Build it together real quick.
Where is he? It's like a printer office locate. What is this? What is this? I have so many questions. Skip forward. Oh my God, he hasn't put it up yet. Why are we watching you put it up? What is this?
I'll tape this.
Oh yeah, no, good point. I'm sorry. We're gonna address this because heck, why not? I'm in a mood. I'm ready for it. Peter Lemire says he literally said he was not warned about the 5 p.m. closing time, and on TikTok he kept saying he was going after people with lawsuits. Yes, when he was branded a racist because he said racist things to the black community that he's pretending to help. Yeah, he's, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to sue you. And I think he filed at least one of those lawsuits. Could be wrong about that. There are plenty that he's threatened. He said, I'm definitely going to go through with. The thing with his lawsuit where he said, I wasn't warned about trespassing. I have a video out that shows that he was warned about the trespass 5 times in about an hour and that he wanted to get arrested. So he just lied in the lawsuit. That's a fun one. You want to tell me that's not a dumb lawsuit? Hilarious. Hilarious. There was a lawsuit against the TV station where they're like, they reported on news. I don't like that the news was about me. Like, sucks to be you, dude. Stop making news, I guess. Stop being the news. Like, his lawsuits are trash. They're absolute trash, not only in substance, but also content. No, those are probably the same thing. Let me rephrase. The content of the lawsuits are garbage. The way that they've been written, also garbage. In fact, in one of the recent ones he did, he listed as his lawyer a guy who's not a lawyer. That's a big problem. He's, I believe, done that before. Shocking. And then he wanted to be the lawyer for other people. Like, I'm going to not be your lawyer, but I'm going to have your power of attorney. And the judge is like, you absolutely can't do that. And then he's like, I don't know how to file this paperwork, so the system is wrong, despite them telling me how to do it. Like, and you want to tell me that he's not dumb about this sort of thing? What a foolish statement. Almost like you haven't been paying attention. Which is probably why you don't respond to my comments, because you know that you can't address what I'm saying in a way that makes you look like a reasonable human being. It's too easy. It's just the Dan Lofat roast. That's what this is. Dan Lofat says 3 that he's filed at that. Anyone could check that it's 3 that he personally has filed for himself. How sure about that are you, though? Have you checked federally? Did you check all the states he's been in? Get back to me when you've done that, because we've done that. So I think I have more information about this than you do. I just want to see where your information is coming from. Are you wrong? I don't know. Prove that you're right. Show me the evidence, bud. I'm not going to prove your point for you. Anyway, it's just that every lawsuit I've seen that he's filed is trash. Every draft that he said he's going to file has been trash. And every threat that he's made is trash for filing lawsuits. They're dumb. They're ridiculous. They're so stupid. J. Carr says he said that he just filed 5 on Monday. That I don't know about. I remember his whole, I'm the king of the castle in Texas with his nonsense there. I think he had a few out of Texas, but it's fine. Dan Lofat, the problem is I'd love to believe you. I really would. But based on all of the nonsense that you said, and like this is over a period of time. This is not your first rodeo here. Most of your nonsense is nonsense. So I don't really believe anything that comes from your mouth unless I can prove it. And you certainly don't have a good history of proving it to me. So don't know what to tell you. Anyway, I don't know why he comes here to do this. It's the same with Rogue Nation and Archangel for Truth. I don't know why they do it because this always happens.
One right here.
For the record, I love being distracted by it. I love it. I love being in a cage. I love violence. It's chilly right there.
Here, and then I'll take you guys on a walk real quick.
Oh yeah, go for a walk. Why are you feeling okay?
Live for alpha males who keep the spirit of competition alive. For alpha males.
Wait. I'm sorry.
So, a transparency peace officer. This is a decentralized.
He says it's a decentralized rights protector. All right, I have the transcript up. And then it's just a picture of a map. What? Explain the map, Chili. Explain it.
Rights protectors.
Dan Lofat says, I think its issue is he's got the wrong pair of legal working for him. He doesn't have any legal working for him. He said he studied constitutional law for 20 years. So A, why would he need a legal team? B, he says he doesn't need a legal team because he's studied for 20 years, which he hasn't. He's actually confirmed that. There are videos out there where he's like, I studied for 2 years. So he's lying to you. No, he doesn't have a legal team. He has no legal anything. Not even himself. He has no legal idea. Okay. Now, to be fair, yes, he does have the wrong legal people because the legal people around him aren't legal people. They're idiots. The map is indestructible. Oh, this is the part of the town that won't be able to be destructed. It's laminated and therefore impervious to attack.
You keep the spirit of competition alive.
What spirit? Decentralized rights protectors keep the spirit of competition alive. What spirit of competition? What are you talking about? Dan Lofat says, prove your own point. Where is your Google Doc showing your research how many lawsuits filed in all states? You're the one making the claim. It's not up to me to prove your nonsense. What are you talking about? We have evidence that already that you're wrong on this channel. What are you talking about? You are making a claim. What is your claim? That he only filed 3 lawsuits? Rennie, do we have information that says he filed more than that many lawsuits? Let me know. Text me a yes or a no. Because, yeah, he filed lawsuits yesterday in Texas. So you probably haven't seen that on the docket yet. But he sure did show some of the paperwork, didn't he? So we already know that it's stupid. Anyway. Dan Lofat says, yeah, I posted here in your chat, told it 15 times or a little less. That's really not a track record. You've come to multiple streams. You've left multiple comments on my various videos. More than 15, bud. Time is more than right now. There's also the past. Wow. Excuse me, microphone. Oh, so good. Yeah, I don't know why this one's so quiet. I will address the interesting things. Okay, Rennie is pulling what we have. And Dan Lofat says, well, if it's frivolous, it's not going to get on the docket necessarily. We're not talking about whether or not it's on the docket. We're talking about whether or not he's filing idiotic lawsuits. Please try to keep up. Oh, it's so good. Too easy, Dan. Please, a challenge, please. Yeah, so I guess he's saying, all right, so transparency officer is this the decentralized rights protector to keep the spirit of competition alive for alpha males who want to do good. It's actually who want to do well. No, I guess want to do good would be correct, actually, in this context. It's fine. Don't worry. Grammar. So, oh boy, Dan Lowe's putting out some stuff that I can prove wrong. We'll get there. So I guess people, he's like, yeah, well, people would do this job where you can be assaulted because alpha males who, you know, keep competition alive. What competition? What's the competition? Why would alpha males be like, oh, I'll just go get beaten up and can't respond? Like your definition of alpha male, they would punch the person back, but that's not allowed, right? Or maybe it is because there's no such thing as crimes. But before we address that, Dan Lowe Fat wants to say that he only commented a couple of times on a few. What do you say? Check every single comment I've made on any of your videos and I can total them up. I bet they're less than, let's say, 40. How's that? Well, it's not 15. Shocking. He says, I've never really commented on more than maybe 3 or 4 of your videos, maybe once or twice, possibly 3 times. Each that's about 15. I mean, if I'm off by 15, that's only 30. That would be off by 100%. All right, so on delete Lawz versus Reagan, we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5, we have 6, 7, 8, 9. Bro, you had 9 on delete Lawz versus Reagan alone. On delete Lawz as a scam, I can prove it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're already past 15. It's been 2 videos. 9. Then we have constitutional expert, can't comprehend criminal ingenuity. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, sorry. Let me see. I started counting with 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have I've made a terrible mistake, which is my joke about sovereign citizens on April Fool's Day. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, sorry. I got 1 too far again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have broken system, broken trust, embarrassing himself over and over. We have 1, 2. All right. Then we have James. Did James Freeman deserve to be beaten and tased? Part 1. We have. No, that's someone talking about you, but it's not you. Oh, there you are. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's in one comment thread. And then a different comment thread. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Who's keeping count? This is, wait, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, there's 15, 16, 17. 17. All right, that was, how many videos was that? I don't know what the number was. Oh my God, are you wrong? You had 17 on one video. You said you only left 15 comments ever? 17 on one video. We went through 1. Wow, that's a lot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos. That was 6 videos that you've commented on. One of them had 17 comments. Am I wrong about that? I don't know. A lot. That's a lot. That's a hell of a lot. And there's more than that. That was just the first 6. I'm not going to go through every single one because, oh my God. I mean, people are like, no, he's already dead. I'm going to keep going. No, I'm going to have a little fun with this. I'm going to let him address this. I'm going to let him apologize. There we go. I'm going to let you apologize. No, leave him here. I'm going to let him apologize. You have 49 seconds. "36 seconds. "26 seconds. Come on. What's wrong, buddy? Where do you go? There he is. Says that's actually not a hell of a lot. Oh, that's not an apology. You have 17 seconds. 17 seconds. 11, 10, 9, 8. Come on. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2. You had tons of time. You're gone. Rennie, if you wouldn't mind. 5 minutes should be enough. Oh, he's still not apologizing. Well, you're gone, so it's too easy. Look, guys, don't worry. I'm not going to spend the whole time doing it. I just wanted to have my fun. But, yeah. Anyway. He was off by like 1,000%. He's like, oh, well, Won't admit he's wrong. Won't admit he's wrong. Always an excuse. Not here, bud. So bye-bye. 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 You're gone. It was so easy. You could have addressed your errors. It was so easy. They were so easy to point out. But bye-bye. Anyway. We have fun here. Yes. Got it. Stand by. So Pacer has 3 cases, but we know he's filed more. Just that they haven't shown up yet. If Dan Loaf had been paying attention, he would have known this. Anyway. Where's my video? There it is. 1,000% is a reasonable margin of error, right? Says Paul. Oh, it's too easy. Anyway.
You keep the spirit of competition alive for alpha males who want to do good.
What spirit of competition?
You know, Amber Alerts are going to mean something.
They already do. It means a child is missing, possibly kidnapped. Do they not mean something where you are? Ohio, I assume Amber Alerts are still Amber Alerts.
This is the intro.
Oh, but also laws don't exist, so if someone kidnaps a child, there's no law to prevent it, right? According to you, Chili? I appreciate it, 99. I saw that and I was very confused because I was like, I remember this guy being not this person. But we all have bad days. And the fact that you came here and that I saw it and said that, I really appreciate that. Because I was like, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But like, what? What? I was very confused. But it's good to have you here.
Think about that for a second. You know, they could roll out those COVID vaccination buses, couldn't
Is that what this is supposed to be? Is this transparency bus a COVID bus? I don't understand.
they? That looked, when you stepped inside the bus, it looked like a totally different thing. But you can't have a great big huge double doors for guys who are drunk and fighting outside of a bar. You have to cuff them like a pig and then put them in the back of a tiny little space.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about like a paddy wagon? Those exist. If you have a lot of people, okay, so I think he's saying that this bus is like a mobile jail. But isn't that just mobile torture, Chili? Oh, it's a dungeon on wheels, according to you. So hold on, because you said that laws will not exist under this new transparency thing. But also you get to arrest people, but your transparency officers don't get to arrest people. They can't go hands-on. Your words, I believe, basically. But, oh, let's put them in buses. We have that. And you know what? Let me pull up a picture for all of you. Let me pull up a picture. They've existed for a very long time. All right, that one's not real. That's an Irish thing. But so in Europe, they call them paddy wagons. Here we have one, Chicago, right? I think I don't know what the term is for them here because I never used them, but that's a thing. You have like a prisoner transport. That's usually for jail. That's a thing. Rolling Drunk Tank says blue. Basically, oh yeah, a re-education bus. That's right. So the party paddy wagon. Yeah, so that exists. There are better vehicles for this than this bus. I'll tell you that right now. There are better vehicles for this because generally you don't have 40 to 60 to 80 people you need to put on a bus. So you have smaller things like this. I don't know what I just clicked. Yeah, like this, which is basically an ambulance that has been repainted. There's plenty of room back there. Okay? It's a whole, like, oh my God. Or do you mean like, oh, we'll have like a mobile police bus? That's the thing too. Let me pull that up. Mobile crime lab. These are a lot of fun, actually. Mobile crime labs. It's like a bus, but not a bus, because a bus is a kind of stupid choice. Although sometimes they're very similar to buses. We had one, it was a mobile lab like this. It was basically not a, let me pull this over. Not a bus. It was more of a, like an RV. And it had everything you'd need for a major crime scene where you want everything to be centralized. It was going to be days, of working this crime scene. That's already a thing. It's already a thing, bud. Why do you need to reinvent the wheel? But worse, it's not round. It's a trapezoid now. Those are the wheels. Mr. Shigura says we have those mobile command centers in Seattle. At least we used to. That's right. Until the protesters took them all. I'm just kidding. That's a joke because of the Eastern Precinct debacle. Anyway, so many issues with this bus being stupid and already exists. These drones being stupid. Also, law enforcement has drones that they use very sparingly generally. But if you want a drone that's going to follow someone, you don't want a hovering one necessarily. You want something that flies with wings. You can glide. You can go for a lot longer. And you just have it circle like a C-130. If that makes sense to anybody. Anyway. 20 years studying the Constitution. You ever came across anything like this? Weird.
We're going to be selling that. It's got to go. And there's a more.
Wait. Why does it just say sell on it?
Bar.
What is
You have to
I'm so confused.
Like a pig, and then put them in the back of a tiny little space.
Also, why those colors? What?
We're gonna be selling.
Also, by the way, these handcuffs right here are fantastic handcuffs. Really good handcuffs. The key can go on either side. You can grab them and maneuver them with one hand really, really easily. Those are great handcuffs if you're looking for handcuffs. I don't know what that taser is. You've got a rifle that will very rarely get used. I think this looks. What is this? If this isn't a soldier, this is probably going to be something like we saw in Portland a couple years ago now. Gosh, time is meaningless during a pandemic. That looks a lot like it's. What are the federal officers? Hold on. I got this. I'm going to get it. Some of the chat's going to beat me to it, I'm sure. DHS? That might be a DHS agent. That's what it looks like here. Simulation Gaming, thanks so much, says OPP use drone out here for big events. For big events, sure. Not for an individual officer, I imagine. A big event would make sense. Also, they still have to be very careful with using them. They don't generally, I don't think they're supposed to fly them over the crowd for big events, but like over a building, so that if it does fall, it just falls on top of the building and be recovered. It doesn't, kill people when it falls. There are definitely rules for that. Federal Protective Service, yes, FPS, not Department of Homeland Security officers. There's FPS. It also does look like an NBC suit, which would be nuclear, biological, chemical. In the Army, we have CBRN, which is chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear. But yeah, that is a lot because it looks like he's wearing the mask. Now, you could have a mask if you were doing some tactical stuff. We're using like tear gas, OC stuff. But it also has the hood and the gloves. But the cuffs aren't sealed. I don't know. But it does look a lot like it would be a chemical response type of unit. But, DHS wears blue or black. That's right. I got DHS confused with FPS, because of course I did. But we got there in the end. I knew I was wrong, but I was close. We have a dog. Canines are super useful, by the way. Baton, super useful. Is he complaining about body armor? Super useful. And then we have what looks like SWAT. They exist for a reason, as some people have guns and want to use them against police because they don't want to go to jail, despite committing felonies. Okay. I mean, someone said it, that the poster probably means sell this equipment that they get. But, like, make a better poster. That's a terrible poster. It doesn't tell you what they're talking about at all.
There's a few more things, but the fundamental question.
Construction lights. Hey, it works. Construction lights work. If it works, it works. That's fine. Oh. No, it's fine.
Question, yeah.
No justice without the camera rolling. True, false. That'd be, I'm sorry, let me show you. That false. The camera certainly can help, but justice still exists without cameras. What? Also, yeah, so about the batons, that is not generally something that you're going to see today. Outside of, like, riot control. But even riot control, you don't have the handle thing there. I've been trained on these guys. I never actually used them. I use the ASP, which is the collapsible one, which I don't think I have on any of these shelves. Anything. Anyway, anything. Anyway.
We're going to be selling that. It's got to go. There's no justice without the camera rolling.
He doesn't seem well in this. What's the Doctor Who thing? Does he look tired? Does she look tired? Does he look tired? I don't know. Anyway, Doctor Who fans will know.
Is that true or false? There's no justice unless it's on camera.
It's false.
Is that true?
It's false, guys. What's this? What is this? Just a bunch of dollar signs. TC, thanks so much. Says countdown until everything on the wall is connected with a maze of red yarn. I actually bought some red yarn and some thumbtacks. I wanted to make a maze of the stupid things he said. And maybe someday I will, but it's hard to keep up. Ah, the PR24. That's it. Ugh, I knew I wouldn't remember it. You guys are the best. You guys know. I'm guessing these are all police stations or substations. And they cost money, so it's dollar signs. That'd be my guess. But guess what, folks? When you don't have a police station nearby, it can be a long time before an officer can get to you or get the specific things that are needed, right? There's a reason you spend less time in the back of a patrol car. Police can get to you faster. One of his complaints was, oh, police didn't stop these active shooters. Well, guess what? They'd be a lot less able to do it if they were farther away. I'm assuming that's what this is. I'm just a guess. Simulation Gaming, thank you so much. Says police need to walk around with a 2x6 like Arnold. That's right. Make them do that and make it a cross, right? And have them have to drag it like Jesus allegedly did. And that way, when they need to some divine justice, they can just. But also, they're being humbled because I don't know. It's chilly logic. It doesn't make sense, does it? He doesn't explain it. Got it. Great. Okay. What? What is this? I have so many questions. God, he thinks he's so smart with this. All right. Strap popper? Nope. No immediate answers. I don't know if this a thing that he did or is it related to something else. Sasumata? I have a lot of questions. Got it. Now, while I am looking for answers to the questions, let me put this chat on slow, if y'all don't mind. I'm so sorry, I know. Look, I have no plan. I just wanted to do this. So don't mind me. What is... Oh! I was like, why is this... The lighting changing because I'm dragging something around on my screen. I'm so confused. All right. Let's see. I didn't get much sleep last night, folks. So I'm a little out of it. Let's see. I figured it out yesterday. Surely I can figure it out again. There we go. Let's give it 20. I'll be nice. It says 60. I'm giving it 20. I'm going to be nice. Peter Lemire says, the fool does know that crimes take place in the water. So how does transparency fools get to the middle of a lake, walk on water like supposedly Jesus did? Well, I mean, given the fact that everything else he says is nonsense, I kind of assume so. I did address that in one of my videos. Said, you're going to have to surveil the bottom of a lake, bodies of water, if you want to have a pure surveillance state where police can't do anything. Explain this one. All right, Sasumata strap popper. Sasumata. Okay, it's a pole weapon used by the samurai class and their retainers in feudal Japan. Got it. What does it have to do with it? All right, Sasumata strap popper. Is this a thing that he's put out into the internet? Nope, he hasn't. All right. It doesn't make sense to me. J-Car, thanks so much. Says, Chill needs a bit of my grandma's tactics. She got kicked by a cow, picked up a 2x4, and knocked that cow out. Her reason? First, you have to get their attention. Cow survived. Fair. Look, if it works, it works. It should be doing the thing. Maybe. It will interrupt me when I'm not expecting it. Our Lord and Savior, I knew it was coming too. Finally, I always forget. This time I got it. Baseface says, and thank you by the way, says, Our Lord and Savior, Taser Daddy. Thank you. Sometimes I regret making that. Why did these posters look so jank? Like, would it kill him to have these done at Kinko's? Well, that's because he only has a printer. He's just printing it out page by page and pasting it. Thanks. Bruh, I know. It doesn't. Anyway, Aaron, thank you so much. Says, you didn't get much sleep, and yet, and I've lost your comment. It just, there we go. And yet you are much higher energy than he is about his magnum opus. Yeah. You'd think well, according to him, it's 1:20 in the morning there. So, I mean, why not just wait till the next day? I don't understand. Leo Mom says you need to watch his next video. He explains it all. Don't know that I want to, but we might have to do that just so we can figure this out together. Because right now I'm like relying on you guys to like make this make sense to me. My brain is melting.
It's all going to go on a website anyway, so.
Oh, good.
I know you guys are seeing it one day early, but you don't understand it because I have to explain it.
Then explain it. You don't understand it because I have to explain it. I'm not going to explain it.
But you have to see it. You have to be able to see it to understand it.
I do see it. I still don't understand it.
And there's
I'm going to explain it and I'm gone.
a lot of stuff to go through. So, I just popped on because...
All right, I'm skipping forward a little bit.
How you guys doing, man? I'll be back in Ironton this week. Tomorrow here in Dallas, I'll be filing a federal civil rights lawsuit.
Oh, and that would make it more than 3 lawsuits, wouldn't it? Dan Low Fat, who has disappeared. Interesting.
With Yunez tomorrow. That'll be the 3rd one in 3 weeks. I don't know if I can play music or not. I give the channel credit, but I don't know if I can if I'm allowed to play music.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do it. So I'm not going to give him credit. But otherwise I would. Okay. All right. Weird logic.
It's one of those sleepy time channels. In the bio, I just wanted to say
okay, so yeah, we might have to go to his next video. Because I was just like, oh, that video or that picture, the picture on the video. Like, oh, I can't wait. But I think this is just him not making sense for almost an hour. Okay, let's go to a different video. Wow, stop. Why would you do that to me? All right, we don't stop ever.
Today.
Is this the video? No, hold on. Transparency 2020. Oh God, it's an hour. All right, we're gonna have to do this again later, I think. Well, not. We'll go over some of it now, but we'll have to come back to this to finish it, I'm sure. Oop, my bad. What is this? What is this? Oh my God. What is this? Now he's just making up signs? What is this? What does that mean? Yield, but stop? You understand that a stop sign is a yield sign that you just stop for first, right? Like a yield sign is you can keep moving as long as you have the right of way and you're not taking the, interfering with other people who have the right of way prior, right? There's a yield sign. You're about to enter an intersection or a new lane. You make sure that nobody's there and that you have the right of way. You enter. You don't have to stop moving. A stop sign, basically the same thing, but you come to a complete stop first. Then you make sure that you're not interrupting anybody, and then you keep going. Why would you have both? It doesn't make sense. Ha! Oh, here we go. John Locke, Essays in Human Understanding, Two Trees of Government. Oh, yes. The guy who lived before the U.S. government existed. Oh, this is great. Show me the character of a man, and I'll show you how much education he has. Well, Chili, I don't think that's going to work in the direction you want it to. That's fine. And then, natural law. Humans are born free and equal. Government is to protect the liberty of the people. So if I want to be free from people breaking into my home, surely there should be some law against it that the government can enforce, right? Right? I have the liberty to, equal enjoyment of all rights. What happens when someone wants to take that away from me by driving drunk? I have the right to use a public road? Well, now it's dangerous because you're letting people drive drunk on it. I have the right to the pursuit of happiness. Well, I can't be happy if I'm afraid for my life from everybody and the government won't step in to do something about it. It's almost like you haven't studied the Constitution for 20 years because these are basic concepts that have been discussed in quite a few legal journals. This is a discussion as to, and this is something that actually came up. I did a lot of reading on this particular topic because of COVID, because there was a discussion about how much can the government influence public safety, and how much should they influence public safety. Now, a lot of that was in the context of COVID vaccines. And then there's a Massachusetts case in 1905 that will pop into my head. No. Doesn't matter. I've cited it a bunch on this channel before, but that's where that would come up when I was looking into this stuff. And then I sort of delved a little bit outside of it, not hugely outside of it. But yeah, he has no idea what he's citing. Captain Cactus, thank you so much. As a donation towards getting Chillblaine decastrated, help with his psychotherapy that he needs, or a trip to a real dungeon, whichever is cheaper. Fair. You might want to donate to him because I'm not giving him that money. I'm so tired. I was having trouble reading that. I'm sorry. That's on me. Charles Saint says, how about delete Lawz, service the prototype to his idea, strap a camera to him and send him to a scene to see how he does. Well, he's done audits before, so I think he's like, oh, if I can audit, anyone can audit, and it's fine, it's no danger, blah, blah, blah. But also, it's illegal to assault an auditor. Fun fact. But yeah, I'd love to see him try it. No justice without cameras. We saw that one already. Here's the transparency bus. Stupid. Explain it. I mean, I'm a little low energy right now, but it's better than whatever he's doing.
Doing roll call, where's everybody from now, where everything is fundamentally based on the video. Because no matter how many polls I've taken, no matter how many people I've asked, the resounding answer every time I ask the question.
Well, you block people that you don't like the answer of, or who are giving answers you don't like. So I don't think this is a fair poll, is it?
Can you get
Thank you, Max.
justice if there's not a camera rolling?
Yes, cameras there was a start point for their existence. Justice has been served since then, or before then, and since then, I guess. That works too, logically. What was the poll? What?
Can you get transparency? And what we've seen happen over the past 2 years, specifically since the 2020 election, since the pandemic, we have seen the Fraternal Order of Police get people elected who were ex-cops.
What? What? Who's we? Who's the Fraternal Order of Police? Like, give us a little more detail. Like, which fraternal order? Who's getting elected? Who's getting elected because of that order? What are you talking about?
Who are now submitting legislation that is giving the body cam footage that we all so desperately need to the police agency.
Now submitting legislation that's giving the body cam footage that we all desperately need to the police agency. That, I don't think that made sense.
Now submitting legislation that is giving the body cam footage that we all so desperately need to the police agency.
It's already their footage. The footage is the police agency's footage. They're giving themselves their own footage? Hold on. Let me see if there's any legislation for body cameras. Right. Body cam legislation. Okay. Law in Washington, Washington State says local police officers have to have video and audio recording of any interrogation that involves either a felony or a juvenile. We had that in the Army. That was 100% a thing. In fact, I had a case where I was testifying in court, and they're like, "Why wasn't this video recorded?" And I went, "It wasn't felony level. We don't. If we recorded every single interrogation, we haven't been given the resources to deal with that." And per our legal team, and I say legal team per JAG, and per Army regulation, we don't record these unless it's a felony or a juvenile. In fact, we rarely do juvenile interrogations because generally the parents are like, "No, that's my kid." So we don't. So, okay. Legislatures require police body camera use statewide. Okay, so there's some states that are putting it. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm not seeing any immediate articles here. I mean, let's see if we can find federal. But he doesn't elaborate. All right, 2021, Justice Department announces first federal agency to use body-worn cameras. Great. Here's one. HR 1163 to require federal law enforcement officers to wear body camera and for other purposes. Wow. Oh my God. What was this? This was 2021, 2022. Just federal officers. They're not the ones he usually deals with. That's fine. Let's see. Shall be retained. Shall be retained. All right. So, in general, body camera footage shall be retained by the law enforcement agency that employs the officer whose camera captured the footage or an authorized agent thereof for 6 months after the date it was recorded, after which time such footage shall be permanently deleted. Is that what he thinks? All right, body camera footage shall be retained for not less than 3 years of a longer retention period. Excuse me. Yeah, I think it's beeping at me. All right, shall automatically for 3 years. The video footage captures an interaction or event involving an use of force. Stop, not a complaint, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Shall be retained pursuant to the requirements of subsection whatever. Redacted. Shall be retained for at least 90 days if it's an in-car video camera. Oh, okay. Beep at me some more. So that's just stating, that's not saying that, oh, well, the police get to, like, it's given to the police. Because, well, first of all, it's already theirs. That's not how that works. It's saying this is the amount of time that we will keep it, because storage is a thing that he doesn't seem to understand. This is how long we'll keep it before it gets destroyed. Now, he does know that stuff gets destroyed because he's very confident we won't get some of his files because of how long ago they happened. He knows they've been destroyed. There's still a record of his court cases, but not the specific details. He knows this. He's very happy about it. So is that what he's talking about? He never elaborates, to my knowledge. So I don't know. But we all see that was just about retaining it for a certain amount of time, right? You can still request it. Stuff needs to be redacted. You have to pay people to go through it and make sure personal information is going to be given out. Because if that happens, oh, there's some lawsuits right there. So they're not going to do that for every bit of footage. That would be insane. They will keep the footage. And if you request the footage, then they go through it and make sure that there's nothing that shouldn't be put out to the public as far as like PII goes, personally identifiable information. This is, I don't think this is nonsense. If there's anyone confused, let me know. I'll keep an eye on the chat.
So let's just, everybody answer the question for me, if you would, please. There is no justice without the camera rolling. Is that true or is that false?
Objection leading.
Is that true or false? Is it true or is it false? How many people are in here? Is this thing on? So now the answer that I always get is no. That you're not going to get justice unless the camera's rolling.
Yeah, because of course the people you don't block are going to agree with you. That's why they're not blocked. Justin, thank you so much. It's been a minute since I caught a live stream. Good to see you in action. Well, thank you. It's good to have you here. I'm not at my peak operating performance. I'm a sleepy boy. But, yeah. Doesn't make sense. Oh, Paul, keep an eye on that. Yes. Thank you. Yes, emails. I get swamped in them sometimes. I miss things.
True or false? There is no justice without the camera rolling. Is that true or false? And so now that you get to that answer, you have to start to ask yourself a deeper question. And here's the question I want to ask you. So a lot of people will watch this later, and what I want to know is, do you want the camera footage that is produced with you on camera?
You can request that stuff. You file a FOIA request. It's super easy. I do it all the time. Westswell, thank you so much, by the way. It says, how long does Axon keep footage? That I don't know. Well, Axon's the brand of the... Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, ESMC. 83 to 87. It's longer. That's a good chunk of time. It's a good 4 years. Math. Axon's just the company, right? It would still be the police keeping it, I think. Am I understanding correctly? Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Carlos, thank you so much, says, gotta give it to the guy. He really reminds me of my third grade librarian with those classes. That's good info. We'll have to deal with that as well.
Where something bad could have happened to you. Do you want that camera footage? If the agency, because what do we have right now? Here's Los Angeles. This is Los Angeles. And this is where the centralized units of policing are. So you have consolidated power. And with consolidated...
Here's a map. Let me show you at a terrible angle. That makes sense.
Power, you get absolute power. And absolute power...
Rogue Nation. Is this the actual Rogue Nation? Uh-oh. You want to start this with me today? Hey, Rogue! Hey, remember the time that you were unfamiliar with Section 2, subsection C of a statute, and you had like all the time in the world between uploading a video and when I discussed it to address that discrepancy, and then in the course of a day, I saw the video and said something's not right, and you tried to correct me, and it only led me to a law that made the guy wrong earlier than he would have been. Remember that? Remember when that happened? You remember that? When you were wrong, as you always are on my channel? Do you remember? Tell us how you feel about that. While you're, trying to articulate a reply, Miss Lonnie, thank you so much. Says police department set up servers that retain the body cam footage. Axon is just the manufacturer of the hardware and software. See, we didn't have body worn cameras. I wish we did. It's not something that you generally see on a military installation because of all the things that like legally cannot be filmed. There are exceptions. There are some specific like DACPs that I think had car cameras because they knew they had additional training for all of that. And generally, there are people with like already 20 years of law enforcement experience. So they had car cameras. But I'm not super familiar with how all of the body-worn camera footage stuff works. I just know how to request it, and I know that it's not difficult to request. It's not hard. Rogue sure is taking his time, though. We're going to keep going.
Power corrupts absolutely. And so this is what we have created here. This consolidated groups of power where they have dungeons and they can take you there.
Do you mean like detention holding facilities, jails? I don't believe any of them are dungeons. Let's actually look up a definition of dungeons just for funsies. Strong underground. Paul, you were right. Prison cell, especially in a castle. You can use it as a verb? You can dungeon someone? Which means to imprison someone in a dungeon? That I did not know. We've learned something today. We learned. Education, folks, is important. It's great. The more you know. Yeah, so I'm sure LA has some dungeons. I don't think they're for incarceration, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway. Yeah, dungeon. We have fun here.
And if you don't agree to go, there is absolutely no limit.
There is absolutely a limit. Hold on. Okay, so use of force. When someone's under arrest, for example, right? You're like, I'm going to take you to jail. They're under arrest. You have probable cause. Rodney says, I got $1,000 if you can get me body-worn camera from Alabama. Red herring fallacy. Also, Rennie, let's look into that. I'm going to hold you to it. Let's get a screenshot of that. He won't pay. They do this all the time. I have so much. If the people who challenge me to do things actually paid me, I would have about $4,000 burning a hole in my pocket right there. From like the last 2 months alone. I think. Well, maybe a little longer than that. I don't know. It happens a lot, and they're generally wrong. Doesn't prove that you were right about 2C, though. In Florida, does it? Oh, you were so wrong about that. And then you fled. You scampered off because you're like, oh, well, I can't convince you. Well, no, you can't because you're wrong. What about this case? Like, oh, the case that literally confirms my point? Thank you. Anyway, tequila straight up. Yeah, tequila makes me vomit immediately. I don't know, dude. Tequila. Where is it? Thank you. Says there are some corrupt cops and lawyers in North Korea. Chu needs to go there and fix that. No! I understand where you're coming from, but I gotta call you out on your gentle call out. Because that's a fallacy. That is a slippery slope, maybe. Because there are issues here. There are bigger issues elsewhere. You know what? No, it's the argument that would have to be made. I'm sorry, you're not the one making the fallacy. I was creating the fallacy for you because the argument would be, why address things here when there are worse things elsewhere? And there's a fallacy for that. But that's not the argument you made. That's the one I associated with the argument that you would have to make if there was a conversation. You know what? This is what I do. I'm too tired to turn it off. I'm sorry, but thank you for your comment. I'm a mess. I'm a mess right now. I'm still operating at a a higher level than Chile is. All right, so use of force. You have someone that you establish probable cause. Probable cause. Oh, I'm sorry, Rogue. Are you saying that you said any body worn camera footage? You already set the terms. You don't get to limit them now. No moving the goalposts for you. You've already set those terms. Also, 2012. That we just went over a thing that says federally, which would not necessarily apply to Alabama, but it does establish that there are limits to how long they keep that footage. It's probably gone by now. What? Oh my God. It was probably gone 3 years after it happened because let's assume that's the standard. Dylan, thank you so much. Says $4 you can make me laugh. What? Dang it. I'll pay up. Fair. Ugh. Ugh. Rogue. I'm in the mood to engage. I recommend not. We've already done this once with someone. I will do it again. I will do it again. I want to. I am ready. For the sake of everyone watching, restrain yourself for once, please. Anyway, assuming this is the real Rogue. I don't know. I don't know if you guys know this. I basically created this channel, one, to educate people. 100%. But also because I was already having all these arguments in the comment section, I'm like, it'll just be easier to make the videos. I am happy to continue to engage the trolls. I'm trying to educate them. But oh my God, I've tried for so long with Rogue that now it's 10% education, 90% sass. If you are new, if you are fresh, I would generally, the education is sass, usually much more education. But the more I deal with you and the more I realize you're not here to learn, it's not going to happen, I'll still put out education for the sake of anyone who's following the conversation. That's going to be a lot more sass. Oh, so much more sass. Anyway, we're going to keep going. So, use of force. You have someone who is under arrest. You're taking them to jail, and they're saying, I resist. You can use the amount of force, the least amount of reasonable force to effect that arrest. Okay? So, different departments will have different rules, but they basically generally follow the same thing depending on what kind of equipment that you have. So, there's officer presence, just merely being present. That is use of force. What's not use of force, it's on the force continuum. Then you have verbal communication where you actually interact with the person. That's the next step. And this is where it gets odd, or where it changes between departments. You have physical contact. That could be, hey, like, come on, like, let me put a hand on your back. You have open hand control where you might grab them. You have closed hand control. That might be a strike if they start fighting and like things get nuts. You have closed hand control. Different departments will actually deal with this quite differently. They'll have different names at the very least, or they might sort of stack them at different levels. Sometimes closed hand control is actually much higher on the continuum. But then you have taser, OC spray, baton, usually in that order, although I've seen taser and OC flipped. And then military working dog. And then presentation of deadly force, followed by use of deadly force. There are rules to this. There are very strict rules to this. It has to be reasonable, and it has to, escalate and de-escalate depending on what the situation is within reason. Now, you don't have to go step to step, step, step. Like if someone pulls a gun on me, I don't have to go, hello, grab, punch, taser, no, OC spray, no, baton, no, don't have a dog. Aha, now I can get a gun out. No, you jump to whatever's the least amount that will be effective reasonably in that situation. So this idea that there are no limits is wrong. The limit is use of lethal force. But to get there, you have to be in very specific circumstances. Let's go over what we have. This is a baton. It's we already went over what it was, and I've forgotten. There's a person worth banning for spam. All right, that's middle-ish use of force. Police dog is a little higher. gun, definitely higher. Tasers on the lower half. Handcuffs are definitely on the lower half. And body armor, that's not even use of force. That's protective equipment. We're learning. Yay. Wait. Yay. We're learning. Anyway.
To what the state will do to you to get you to go with them. You are going to go with them because
you committed a crime.
there's no limit of what damage
PR24,
can
thank you,
to
yes.
And you know you're dealing with
Grab it quick, Aaron. Quick before it's gone.
an agent of change when we're still using torture cuffs.
They're not torture cuffs. They're handcuffs. They're very effective. Your Velcro nonsense, you're not going to be able to get that onto a fighting person. Now, they are used in controlled environments like hospitals, where you have someone that needs to be maybe strapped to a gurney, and you have 5 to 8 people that can hold down all of their limbs and possibly sedate them in a controlled environment. Sometimes officers are the lone responders. They don't have 7 people in their pocket. They can just... This isn't some like weird Naruto anime. I never watched Naruto, but I assume he has some sort of jitsu that creates clones. A clone jitsu. There was a soldier I was friends with who was a big fan. He would say things. I absorbed some of it. I have no idea what Naruto's about, other than there's some weird hand movements and then magic happens. But like ninja magic. That's all I got. That is about the extent of it. Also, there's a headband with like a piece of metal. Someone's blind, maybe, or I don't know. I do not know. Can you tell that I don't know? I don't know. Someone's gonna be like, oh, but Naruto. Like, I'm sure it's great. I never did. Yeah, so sometimes that's all you got. You're not gonna be able to put a struggling man into Velcro cuffs. Come on. But he seems to forget that people struggle sometimes. He's like, well, everyone, if they're being filmed, will be compliant. No, no, they will not. We know this for a fact because we have video of people being filmed who then don't become compliant while they're being filmed by, like, police will be like, hey, you're being video recorded, and people will still fight. Velcro cuffs aren't going to work there. There are situations where they do work. And there are situations where they are used because they work in those situations. But your standard officer, it's not going to work for them. Oh, Dan Lofat's back. Behave yourself.
We're still torturing people. We have police that look like this in...
Okay. They are very, very special purpose police.
The United States of America. And you wonder why people don't like that thing.
You will almost never see police dressed like that. Very specific. We saw it when a courthouse was being firebombed night after night after night. So, of course, a maybe more militaristic police force got involved, who are specifically, well, I say specifically, they have a lot of duties, but one of their jobs is 100% protecting courthouses. I was deputized to do law enforcement stuff in D.C. National Guard. It wasn't Posse Comitatus violation. There were concerns, but I can address that. Anyway, yes, there are some police that look like that. Or, again, very specific purposes. This is not your standard officer at all, by any means. USMC 83-87, thank you so much, says, in the prisons we had 7 levels of use of force. Use the least amount of force to control the situation, even in prison. And you prison guards have a lot of fun stuff. The OC foam, oh, God. Oh, God, no. There's an OC spray that becomes a foam, and it will stick to you. And you can fill a cell with it. It's, I imagine, very effective. I would never want to deal with it. Ever. I don't like OC spray. I've been OC sprayed 3 times in my life. 2 of them were in training. 1 of them was not in training. And then I got dragged down by a crowd, and they tried to beat me up before people came to my rescue because I made poor life choices. Made for a good story, though. I learned from it. It was a learning experience. Anyway, OC spray, very effective stuff. Peter Lemire says, it is one of my biggest gripes with the U.S. police system, solo officers in a car. In most European countries, there are always 2 officers in each car. I agree with you. So when I did MP stuff, I didn't like doing MP stuff alone in my car. Because you arrive, you're the only person, you have to wait for someone else to arrive. Oh, what if you have to go grab paperwork because the scene has changed? And now, new things have to be with you, and you can't be carrying a backpack full of all the paperwork you need to have on you. It's in your patrol car. But when you have a second guy, you can coordinate before you even arrive. Say, all right, so this is what we're hearing. You do this. I'm going to do this. Like, listen for me, but grab this paperwork in anticipation, or do whatever. I've had a few. Rarely did I have 2 people in a patrol car. I actually didn't do that much patrol work as an MP. I did a bunch, but most of my career was not patrol work. It was investigations. So I arrived after the fact, which also is not. I loved arriving, being one of the first responders, because it was exciting. All right, it was you never knew. You got your adrenaline going, and I wasn't there to, like, beat people up by any means. I didn't want to do that. I could and I would have done it, but I always tried very hard to de-escalate, because that's the appropriate thing to do. Actually, alphas don't de-escalate. Well, that's a big problem, isn't it? If they're going to be police. Anyway, so some of the best calls I ever had in the context of, efficiency, effectiveness, all that, was when I had someone I was training. Because I got to train them. I love training. I love training people. I did a lot. And it was nice having a person that could do the smaller things for me while I took care of the big things. Oh, it was so great. And then I would take their small things, what they did, and say, all right, this is what you did. Here's how it relates to what I did, which was like all the interviews and the writing this stuff down and taking the notes or whatever I was doing. But for a brief time before I went into general crimes as a military police investigator, I was part of JBLM's. It was like a special task force for patrol, CSU, the Crime Suppression Unit, and that existed because the commanding general of the base, whose name I have forgotten, nice guy though, he was like, I see too many people on their cell phones while driving. I want MPs to specifically address that. And then they decided, oh, well, let's make a special detachment where every 2 weeks, you will have something new. And then all of the commanders on base can say, these are the issues that I see. And then we can be required on this crime suppression unit to address those concerns specifically and keep an eye out specifically for that. So if it's traffic related, we wouldn't respond to the big things necessarily. So we were an additional patrol, but we would keep an eye out for, cell phone use, for example, while driving. And it was great because we had a second person and we could deal with it so much more easily. It was amazing. It's also more expensive, which is why it doesn't always happen. So if you only have enough money to get, let's say, 6 officers, but you have a lot of area to cover, you're not going to put them together necessarily. Unless there's a safety issue, in which case you would. But money is a big factor in this, which Chile does not seem to address. He goes, oh, we'll get whatever money we need from the federal government. Federal government's not going to help you here, bro. Absolutely not. But anyway, I'm sorry. Tangents. You know how I love my tangents. Westwell, I think, had another thing. Yes. Wait, hold on. Yes, says, how about Thorazine as UOF option? There have been situations where police have asked medical personnel responding to a scene to use Thorazine. Is that the to like knock them out? Let me check that real quick. Yes. Okay. Antipsychotic. Well, depends on how quickly it would be effective. I know, like, ketamine, is that what I'm looking for? Basically stuff that's going to knock you out, make it hard for you to move and real lethargic. There's a word for it. There's a word for it. I'm so out of it. My brain's not working. Anesthetic, that's all I'm looking for. Sedation, that's the word. We got it. Sedation. There have been some incidents where police basically asked and possibly compelled. I don't think you wrote that right, Rennie. Thank you. Police have asked EMS to be like, hey, sedate this guy. And in some cases, they went beyond asking. And either EMS was not qualified to make the decision, or police were not, they didn't have the authority to give those instructions to do it. You have to be a trained medical professional to administer sedatives because it can kill someone. And especially if there's drug use already in play, that's really tricky. So you would have to train officers specifically on that. And that would be a lot. That would be a lot of extra stuff. So you could. It would be a challenge. It would be a challenge to effectively implement that. Let's see. And then Simulation Gaming, thanks so much, says, my dad was CEO. He taught me his way, ask, tell, make. Yes. Hey, man, do you mind putting the knife down? Hey, man, put that knife down right now. That's an order. All right, tase him. I'll make him put the knife down. You know, stuff like that. That's absolutely a thing as well. Rennie, I haven't missed it. I hadn't gotten to it yet. Rennie was very concerned that I wasn't going to read that simulation. She's looking out for you. I just hadn't gotten that far yet. I'm just scrolling. Anyway. So.
Thin blue line. Because this militarized group of personnel.
Oh, Peter Lemire says you could save a lot of money by no longer having to pay out huge settlements out of court if there's someone on the scene to hold the other officer in check. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can, two brains can come up with a better solution to a problem than one. Absolutely. Yes. Does it always work that way? Not necessarily. But, okay. Penny, you're blowing up my thigh here. That's where my phone is. Stop it! She's texting me just single words. Just it's fine. It's whatever. It's fine. This is how she gets her fun, I'm sure. Anyway, let's
pledge allegiance to a thin blue line.
Literally no police officer does that. They pledge allegiance to the flag, which, by the way, when was that? Hold on. Wasn't formally adopted until the 1900s. Yeah, Pledge of Allegiance wasn't formally adopted until 1942, by the way. In case anyone was like, oh, the Pledge of Allegiance has been around forever. No, actually. Just fun fact. No police officer pledged allegiance to the thin blue line. They might, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen them go, I pledge allegiance to the flag in guard mount before shift either. In school, you know, I think that's the only time I've ever done a pledge of allegiance to the flag or to anything. Now, I said this yesterday. You swear an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. That's not the thin blue line.
And that is truly, truly the problem.
Well, it's not, because you made it up. That's literally not a thing.
That's truly the problem. So we're going to sell all
Drew.
This gear. We don't need it anymore.
Who's we? You? Do you own that gear? You just got a dog in your back room just sitting around pooping on things?
All of this gear can be sold. We don't need a single bit of it.
We literally do. All of that gets used. All of it. Also, that's a human. You can't sell those. That's a crime. Has been since past the mid-1800s. Should have been earlier than that. Let's be honest. You can't sell people. Now, I know I'm taking his statement out of context, but it was too funny. I had to.
No one in the United States of America.
John. John.
No.
Handcuffed. He just fell down there somewhere, I think. It's fine. Ooh, squeaky chair. Uh, sorry, I need to catch my breath. John Pearson says, I have not back in my home since the day Chili was arrested. I have a fear that he will jump out from around the corner, unplug it, and yell at me. Yes. God, I love it. Oh, Peter Lemire, you are on fire today. Says the enemy groups of the government that exist in the U.S. or criminal gangs would love to buy that stuff. You're not wrong.
Not a single person is jumping down on the ground with their machine gun and it's simply not happening.
Waco, Texas. Also, stand by. PCB, good to have you here again from yesterday. I think you were here as well. Thank you so much. Says, key question, who is Chili planning to sell the equipment to? And exactly what does he think they will plan to do with it? Right? Doesn't really make sense, does it? Here's an article, a news something or other from CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax, titled, let me show you, man shot at officers with a machine gun. So I guess it does happen. Now, did he throw himself to the ground before shooting? I don't know. But he shot at them with a machine gun, assuming that CBS has that right. Oh, body camera video shows moments before police shoot man holding fake machine gun. Okay, so not a real one. Man accused of shooting at police with machine gun indicted on federal charges. Oh, that's an interesting one from KSDK. Right. Yeah. Let's see. A man accused of shooting at police with a machine gun was indicted by a federal grand jury Tuesday. Indicted on 2 counts of possession of a destructive device and 1 count of possession of a machine gun in connection with a September 10th incident of the destructive one of the destructive devices, I assume they mean, was a homemade cannon. Nice. When officers arrived, they saw Taylor standing outside with a fully automatic. Oh, okay, wait. Why would they arrive in the first place? According to the police report from St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, officers received a call for shots fired near Marcus and Cossath Avenue. Because cross streets, around 4:05 a.m. When officers arrived, they saw Taylor standing outside with a fully automatic machine gun, and he immediately opened fire on the officers. One of the officers got out of his car and returned fire at Taylor, which hit Taylor. Taylor then tried to run, but he collapsed. He was taken to the hospital for treatment. He was later taken to police custody. Oh, and there's some pictures. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Is it an actual? Oh my God! Look at this cannon. That's incredible. I mean, is it machine gun, or is it? I mean, it looks machine gun E. But there are a lot of guns that look like machine guns that aren't. I see. I got some super chats. I will get to that in just 1 second. So yeah, people do shoot machine guns at people and at police. What a stupid thought to think that they don't. So yes, police sometimes have more than a pistol, so that they can deal with that. And very rarely does a rifle come out unless there's already a gun in play. Fake delete Lawz, thank you so much, says trifolds of cocaine make me bulletproof. Well, I'll tell you what, fake delete Lawz, because maybe real delete Lawz is listening. What you really want to be bulletproof is, what do you want? PCP. That's what you want. That'll make it happen. Westwell, thanks so much, says, and if you sell off gear, somebody else will have it. Exactly. And we've already established through a couple articles that some people own machine guns and use them unlawfully. Elio Mom, thank you so much, says he would crap if he was behind my car with a blue line flag, MOPO, which is Mother's Police Officer sticker, and support the police license plate holder. He would be very upset. Now, I depends on where you are. I might caution against some of that because it does make you a target of people who have anti-police sentiment. However, being a part of the country where that isn't I say that because Seattle, I would not put that stuff here in Seattle. I support the police. I was the police. I support police when they're doing the right thing. Let me elaborate. Some parts of the country, that's not going to be a problem. Some parts it is. So I appreciate the support. I like to put that out there because here It's a different mentality. Anyway.
And when it does happen, the cops who are dressed like Rambo, they show up after it's over.
No, they don't always show up after it's over. When does it stop? When does it stop? Hey, how long was that? What is happening? Are you guys seeing the rippling? Ooh. Oh, that's odd. I know what that is. That's the shutter speed of the camera. I changed it because I was doing photos of my doggo. I didn't put it back. So now the shutter speed and it's not. Oh, I'm tripping out, man. It's fine. So yeah, no, tiny little machine guns, not terribly effective for anything other than very close range stuff. But what was that shoot? What's the Vegas shooting? Vegas shooting. Well, he shot himself, I think. But yeah, so sometimes police do get there when the shooting is still happening. As in that situation we just read, where shots were fired, and then police arrived, and then more shots were fired. Let's see. All right, more than 1,000 bullets killing 60 people. Well, to be fair, he's on the 32nd floor. And he did shoot himself. So that's not a great example, but police did arrive while it was happening. The problem is figure out where the shots are coming from and not just shooting into a room. But he had a gun with a bump stock that made it functionally identical to a machine gun. So police should have no options, is what it sounds like. Like, that doesn't make sense, does it? Let's see. Police stop active shooter. Fort Lauderdale, 2020. Respond to the scene, 7 p.m. Armed suspect, 4th floor balcony, shooting in the direction of people and vehicles. Oh, look at that. North Hollywood bank shootout. That's a good one. Yes. Okay, so, that's a good one. Yeah, here's one, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where the guy was shooting at vehicles while the police arrived. Huh, what a shock. They sometimes do arrive when it's still happening. You think Chili would be familiar with the bank shootout? All right, North Hollywood shootout. Confrontation between two heavily armed and armored bank robbers. Larry Phillips Jr., names, entered and robbed Bank of America. Attempt to flee the scene, Phillips on foot, and oh God, I can't pronounce that. Wow. In their getaway vehicle, continued to exchange fire with officers. So, gosh, things were still happening. Now, you could argue that they didn't start shooting until the police showed up. And I'm sure that would be his argument. Congratulations, I just made your argument for you. There are problems with that, though. I'm not going to tell you what they are until you make it. Anyway, I digress. And do a little more of his video.
And so now when you just put it in perspective, if the camera's not on, then you're not going to get any justice.
That's not true. You can still get justice very easily.
We have a decentralized police force. So if you need service over here or if you need service over there.
It's a good question, John. Why didn't Chili use his trifold the last time he was pulled over? Good question. Great question. I would love to know as well. Obviously, it didn't work, huh?
Someone from over here. Oh, there's supposed to be people patrolling around, but they just do whatever they want, and everybody knows that.
No. You think that, and then just assume everybody thinks the same as you, when they don't. They don't do whatever they want. They would get fired. One would hope. Simulation Gaming, thanks so much, says, I like the problem solving of police using the bomb redistribution robot. R2FU. Oh, that was, yeah, because they put a little explosive on the robot and then drove it inside the building on that one incident. Oh, that was a fun one. Oh, they did start shooting when they walked into the bank. Okay, I think we might end the stream on that particular video. Folks, there's so much to go over with Chili. We're going to keep doing these live streams throughout over the next however many days. I'm just going to pop them off whenever. Hopefully next time we'll be a little more awake. We can get through a little more of it. But I think it's really important to go over what he's saying, address how stupid it is, and then correct his information, explain how it actually is, so that we can learn a thing or two from it. And I can explain what I know, and we can have these discussions. Because I can make my videos, and I can put them out to you. But I really like having these questions and answers, because I don't know what you don't know. and I can either try to address everything, which is what I do with these streams. It's a problem, or I can address what I think should be known without actually covering some of the questions some people might have. So I definitely do want to do a lot of these streams for Chile. I will eventually, once we catch up on all this transparency nonsense, I'll slow back down. It's just that this is so incredibly wrong, I had to. But let's see if we can find a video that YouTube approves of. Hollywood robbery. Sam 4 Loco, that would not wake me up. They don't put caffeine in those anymore. Oh, that's a lot of footage. Okay. Let's...
Hi everyone, Donut here, and guess what?
Oh, it's Donut Operator. Whoops. Okay.
Time it is.
Pizza time.
No, not quite. It's classic crime.
Oh, this is this is 2018 Donut. All right. I didn't even read the name of the thing I was clicking.
Talk time talk. Harry Phillips and it would shoot out.
I don't know if I can have his audio. He doesn't own this. Well, he owns. Oh, I have to use this in a transformative nature. I don't want to be stealing his content. Go watch Donut's video on this. It'll be better than anything I have to say about it. He was actually SWAT, I believe. I was not SWAT. My training, I have some training. What just happened? What? Why did that trigger? That was not supposed to happen. Okay. Sorry about that. Donut's great. He's got really good information. He's almost always right. He usually is pretty good at it. There are a couple times where he's been wrong, and I've been like, but few and far between. All right. He will not strike me? Well, we'll find out. All right. Okay. All right. Look.
What time it is? Hi everyone,
That image is so good.
All right. Emil. These two met at Gold's.
Aaron, thank you so much. Says, wait, you chose Donut Operator for something that you two would be cool with? YouTube bends him over rail on an episodic basis. Well, that's fair. So, I mean, this stream is not monetized. They rarely are, actually, because who knows what's going to happen. I just sort of have it generally set to not monetize the streams. So we'll see what happens.
Gym in Venice, Los Angeles, which is actually the same gym that Arnold used to work out in. In July of 1993, the two bodybuilders robbed an armored car in Colorado and got away. In October of 1993, they were pulled over for speeding. After a quick search of their vehicle, police found 2 rifles, 2 handguns, 1,600 rounds of 7.62, 1,200 rounds of 9mm and 45 ACP, police radio scanners, smoke bombs, improvised explosive devices, body armor, and 3 different California license plates. They were arrested for conspiracy to commit armed robbery and served 100 days in jail.
That's it? My God. Yeah, so, hey, bad guys sometimes have this stuff. Shouldn't police be able to stop that or deal with it in some manner?
Wait. They had IEDs plus all the other stuff, and they only served 100 days in jail? Oh, wait, this is California. That's right. In July of 1995, the two ambushed another armored car, killing 1 guard and seriously wounding another. In 1990...
Wait, but those guards, they just should have had cameras. Then it wouldn't have happened. Westwell, thank you so much, by the way. Says, of course, McFadden and Terry Case fame didn't need camera. Oh, he thinks Terry versus Ohio was unjustified. So there you go.
1996, they robbed 2 Banks of America in Los Angeles.
Susie Wise says, Donut's been swatted 3 times. People call in false reports just to target him. Yeah, that's why I'm very careful about giving out my information or anything you can identify me with. There is information out there that you could use. There's a breadcrumb. There are a lot of breadcrumbs. And most of those breadcrumb trails do not lead to me. I have a lot of other things they lead to. A lot of vague misinformation being put out by this guy. Now, my experiences, true. Names, sometimes changed. Dates, usually pretty accurate. Places, usually pretty accurate. But there are some personal details that aren't real. Some are, though. Some of them are. I've slipped up a few times. A Haunted Floating Eye, thanks so much, says, I'm behind in this video, but if Axon works like our system, we're allowed to tag videos so that they stay on their server past default retention time. Oh, there you go. Okay. Hey, it's good to know. Aaron. Yes, I live at 123 Swatney Road. It's going to be a very unhappy person at that address. That totally exists.
netting them around $1.5 million. So that's 4 successful robberies within 3 years. And
I'm in a long line of work. Once Chili implements his stuff, I'm moving to Ohio and I'm just robbing banks because what are they going to do?
tons of cash, but they wanted more. On February 28, 1997, Larry and Emil armed themselves
Government people, that was a joke, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mean it.
with an HK-91, 3 Norinco 56 rifles, and a Bushmaster X-15. All of the weapons were equipped with drum magazines. One of the Norincos and the Bushmaster even had illegally modified fun switches.
What?
In addition to...
You can just take a rifle and make it fire full auto? Yes, you can. It's very illegal, though.
a ton of firepower. The two carry 3,300 rounds of ammunition in drum magazines and pouches on their bodies. As far as body armor goes, Larry was wearing a 40-pound homemade suit of level 3A Aramid body armor.
That's impressive. It's actually not difficult to make that, though. The problem is going beyond 3A. But impressive.
His chest, arms, and legs were completely covered. Emil was also wearing a 3A vest.
By the way, pistol bullets, many of them won't go through 3A, which is why you need something like a rifle round. From a rifle, the thing that Chili wants to take away. What?
That he had slipped an additional metal plate into. Level 3A vests, by the way, can protect the body.
I also have metal plates in my 3A vest. They're more for knives. They're stab plates. But they help. They'll help against bullets, allegedly. They definitely help against sharp objects and blunt objects. I can confirm that for a fact.
Body from small arms fired like 9mm, 38, and 44. Remember this fact, it's important. Emil and Larry drove up to the Bank of America and strolled right in. Unfortunately for them, two
Don't tell them, TC.
LAPD officers saw them walking into the bank and picked up their radios and said something to the effect of, "Holy shit, guys, come check this out." So some more police got there and set up a perimeter. Due to
Oh, wait, no, but that's too many police officers to the scene. Chili says that we don't need more than X amount, right?
some recent changes in the Bank of America policy, possibly caused by two heavily armed men in body armor running all over Los Angeles robbing Bank of Americas, the two only walked out with $300,000, which was ruined after dive bombs exploded all over the money. Larry Phillips walked out of the bank, saw a cruiser, and opened fire on it, wounding 7 officers and 3 civilians with his initial burst.
But didn't their cameras stop that from happening? The bank had cameras. Chili pointed out. It was like, oh, there's a Bank of America. Was it Bank of America? The other video we watched yesterday, he's like, that bank has cameras. But why didn't those cameras stop? Well, assuming the bank had cameras here, which I'm guessing they did, why didn't those cameras stop them? What, you mean your entire nonsense, Chili, can be foiled by a face mask? Oh, it's almost like that's super obvious stuff. No one should be confused about this.
Emil exited the opposite side of the bank, and both men opened up on officers waiting outside. And then the officers gunned them down with their patrol rifles, right? Wrong. Patrol rifles weren't a big thing back then.
Which is one of the reasons they are now, because there was a massive issue that was corrected. And some might say overcorrected. And some of you might be right in certain places. But it also, sometimes when the Army is like, hey, we got this equipment we're not going to be using because we're upgrading to something else, we can destroy it, or we can save some people a lot of money, right? We can save a lot of money that goes towards law enforcement for states and give them our old stuff so the states can then put that money into education or roads or other things that aren't law enforcement. Like, you get our hand-me-downs that are still fully functional. We just don't use them. We don't train with them anymore. Then you get to spend your money, states, on things that are not the police. Hooray. You get to build a better budget. Something Chili doesn't understand. Now, are there issues with some of the equipment? With giving the police some of this equipment? Yes. But as I say time and time again, that's not an issue with training. It's not an issue of the existence of the equipment. It's that there isn't enough accountability. I do want another agency to watch the police. But not the way that Chili wants it. That his idea is insane, idiotic, and ineffective. I already know it wouldn't work. But having an agency that could watch in real time, that could expediently say yes or no, right? We get some more magistrates on call. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to do this, yes? They'd be like, that legally checks out. It would cost more money. It would cost less money than Chili's plan. There are issues, yes. And there are ways to address those issues. They are not cheap. They might not work that well. But they're going to work better than his plans.
Some agencies had them, but most didn't. Guess what the officers did have? 38 revolvers and 9mm handguns.
Something that won't go through that body armor.
What is that grip? Remember what we talked
Hold on.
Officers did have 38 revolvers and 9mm handguns. What is that?
I'm familiar with that grip. Let's see. I would generally have my thumb a little farther forward. Like, he's basically locking his grip to the handle. That's not a bad grip, honestly. A lot of people are taught different grips, and they poop all over other people's grips. That, honestly, is consistent with training that I've had for the military. I don't use it that much anymore. I now use a grip that sort of grabs my thumb with the inside of my palm here, and then I put my thumb further along the pistol. But gripping the thumb like that is absolutely a taught method of firing a pistol. I don't know what he's complaining about. Yeah, so a lot of people, say thumbs forward. I've definitely had training that was that exact grip. And it worked. It worked for me. I have adapted and evolved my grip over time. I don't hate that grip. It worked when it worked, which was anytime I used it. Everyone will have their preference, though. That's right. This is the right grip.
That grip. Remember what we talked about with the level 3A body armor? 9mm and 38 doesn't do very well against it. The patrol officers realized this and ganked 5 AR-15s from a local pawn shop. While still in the parking lot, Emil got shot in his ass and left forearm, so he jumped.
Did they also had ammo for them, though? California? Now, this was late 90s California, I imagine. A lot of gang activity. I'll allow it.
Jumped into the getaway vehicle. Larry grabbed the HK-91 from the trunk and continued shooting at police while using the car as cover. He got popped a few more times,
Smart.
pulls out a Beretta, gets popped in the hand, picks up the Beretta, and smokes himself. At the same exact time he ate his gun, he was also shot in the spine by a police officer, severing his spine and putting him on the ground. Emil tried to get away from police, but they shot the shit out of his car. He tries to carjack a Jeep truck, but the owner runs off with the keys. 18 minutes after the shooting had started, LAPD SWAT
It's a brave man.
arrives on scene wearing shorty shorts, tennis shoes, and the first thing they did was commandeer goddamn road pirates, an armored vehicle to extract wounded officers and
Hey, when you gotta arrive fast, you arrive fast. You don't have time to put your stuff on.
civilians. SWAT then engaged in
Oh, B. Brown says just don't cross your thumb behind the slide. Good call. Yes, because your slide's gonna come back and you might break your thumb or dislocate it or do something. Which I think is one of the reasons why people don't teach it as much anymore, maybe. I don't know. I like that grip. I never had a problem with it. I don't use it as much anymore because I use a different pistol now. I have a preferred grip for. It's a whole thing. Was there a movie about this? I think there's a lot of content that's about this. This is a very famous event that I forgot existed.
Emil for nearly 2.5 minutes of uninterrupted gunfire.
Ooh, that's a brave. Oh, that's a bad position to drive up into. Ooh. Oh, he just put himself right into the line of fire. Like, if he pulled up a little bit further, maybe. But, like, here's what I would have done. Crashed into the back of that car. Although, no, they don't have the bull bumper. There's a term for it. My brain is not working. To protect you when you crash. Bull bars, that's the one. I might have just ran right into the back of that car if I had known he was there. But maybe he didn't know he was there and just hit the brakes when he saw him, put himself in a bad position. I don't know. Problem with revolvers, good call, Keith, fair, is reloading them can take a while. Well, it depends on if you're popping the entire cylinder out. But you have a much more limited amount of shots. Also, yes, this is Pokemon. I think this is the Pokemon fight music. Revolvers, hey, if you like revolvers. For police work, I don't really care much for them. But self-defense, sure. Because firearm self-defense should be for self-defense, to get away. 6 shots, you know what you're doing. probably enough to get away. I can't promise it, but. Oh, use the engine block for cover. That'll stop the bullets.
His armor
What grip is Chili using? I'm still waiting for him to get a grip.
absorbs a lot of rounds before one SWAT guy gets the idea to prone out and shoot the shit out of his legs from underneath the car.
Yeah,
Immel, now with
smart
29
man.
bullets in his ass, arm,
Pit bars. Okay. Pit bars. Fair. We call them bull bars. Pit bars make sense as well, though.
and legs, decides to surrender.
Fair, Peter. My brain no work too good today.
But he still died. Is that a cross straw? After it took 70 minutes to convince the Ambu that it was safe to come in. Officers
Fair.
at the time believed that there may have been a third suspect, so it was not safe for EMS to come in. Immel ended up dying from blood loss after taking approximately 20 rounds to the legs, and then his family sued the LAPD because of this, but it ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury. In the end, Immel and Larry had fired nearly 1,100 rounds. Police fired close to 650 rounds. 18 people were injured, but by some divine intervention, no one other than the two.
Duckfoot. Oh. Bring me back to my pirating days and the high seas of video games. Anyway, but yeah. So there's the incident right there. I'm gonna go and probably take a nap. But it's been a delight. We have tons more Chili stuff to do streams on. I'm probably gonna pop on around 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, because that's when the guy wanted to debate me. But now he's like, "Oh, you better not run. You better not run. Also, I'm not gonna give you a way to give me the YouTube link or the link to the stream for the debate that he wanted to do." He really wanted to debate me, to defend Chili. I was like, yeah, give me like an email or something. No, you drop the link here. Like, no, I'm not going to publicly give you the link. No, absolutely not. I will give it to you privately. Well, I won't give my personal information. Make a burner email account. He isn't, I don't even know. So if he doesn't show up, it'll be a very short stream on Thursday, I'm sure. If he does, it's going to be a good time. So, no, tomorrow, Thursday. Say Wednesday? Yeah, so Thursday, tomorrow. So it'll be a thing. We'll see. I'll probably pop on, and if he doesn't show up, I'll just say hi, and then probably not giving you all the link. I'm not going to do it. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I know that this was an odd stream, and I'm a little bit out of it because I am a tired baby boy. But we got some good info out. We were sassy to a lot of people. Oh, and it was a good time. Thank you all for being here. You guys are, as always, incredibly generous, and I love doing this with you. I love talking to you guys and going through this nonsense together. So, till the next time, ladies and gentlemen, I suppose, be good, stay safe.